it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker this morning, and that is Archana Patel. And while many of us know that Archana works with EFT and the power of the mind, where's her background? Where does that really come from? Archana, before she started in this profession, she worked in the IT field and was a web designer and developer of software and breaking things and creating things. And what does that have to do And what does that have to do, and how does it work with the mind? We'd like to think that all of our minds are all this jumble stuff that nobody can understand, but there's actually set patterns that go on in how each and every one of our brains works. And as much as we're all individuals, our brains are pretty much all the same. And having the background that she does, it's really easy for her to break down the processes that we think are so unique and put them into a simple pattern that you can then all of a sudden see the pattern, and then all of a sudden you're not looking at the forest, you see each individual tree, and that's what Archana does. Welcome, Archana.
All right, so I want to start out with a couple of points. My job is to shed light on unconscious actions that business owners do that they're not fully aware of. And I bring awareness to that, to their habits, patterns that keep the business owner from succeeding. So there are 2 points that I believe in. And one is we naturally expand and grow our life and our business. That's just our natural way of being. It's like a flowing river. The only time it doesn't flow is if there's a block or if there's a rock or a stone thrown in the flow. That's what keeps the flow from happening. And my job is to help identify what that is and remove it. And we've talked about that in 7 minutes. The second thing is that the mind tells the body what to do. It is not the other way around. So actually, I want you to just think about a couple things. I'm going to tell you. Think that I'm tired. And just notice what your body's doing. Think I'm excited. Notice what your body is doing. Keep that in mind, and I'm going to demonstrate how I've worked with a business owner to help him identify how he's hurting his business by his power of his mind. So Tom is a chiropractor for 25 years. He wants to retire in the next 2 or 3 years with some income coming in. So he says he can adjust 50 people a day maximum. And he feels like, well, that's about all I can do. That's about all that my body can handle at this point. I've been doing this for a long time, and he feels content. And he doesn't want to do anymore. So that kind of scares me a little bit. One, he wants to retire in a couple of years with income coming in. So here are the red flags that go off in my mind. Well, he's just waiting to spend the time. He's not really excited about his job. There's no room for emergencies. If anything happens, let's say a couple of his patients move out of town, or if somebody gets sick or something happens, he's just kind of coasting. There's no plan for him to handle any emergencies. No focus on his exit strategy. So now he's lost his focus from, wanting to retire in a couple of years. Now he's just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good for now because his body's telling him, I can't handle anymore. So that's what he's telling his self as well. And then there's no long-term vision for him anymore. So when he started his business, he was all focused on going forward. And now he's just like, I'm kind of coasting in, trying to find the exit and finding some place to park and sit, right? And that's what he's doing with his business. So my question is, why the limit of 50 people? And then there's no upward trajectory. So if a business, when you start a business, you're going in an upward momentum. And if you continue the business in an upward momentum, you will be able to sell that business. As soon as you go here, anything happens, you're down in the worry phase. You're facing downward. So that's the focus that I'm trying to bring to him. And he says, I'm physically tired and my body hurts. I said, well, let's take a look at this. Your body might be feeling tired. I'm not denying that after adjusting 50 people that he's not exhausted. He is exhausted. But he is not making a decision of just coasting because he's exhausted. It's his mind that's telling him that he's exhausted. That I'm exhausted feeling sets in the body as soon as his mind agrees with it. As long as his mind doesn't agree with it, he will fight the exhaustion, he will overcome it, it'll be like a coasting ride. It might be uncomfortable, but he'll move past it. So what I tell him is I ask him to close his eyes, and I want him to scan his day all day long, from the beginning of the day, and I want you to tell me what point does the exhaustion set in? When does it get hard to adjust the patient? And he said about 5 o'clock. Well, that's pretty normal, because around 5 o'clock is quitting time in most businesses. So in his mind, 5 o'clock is, I'm done. And it affects his body and affects his patients. And after 5 o'clock, all his patients don't get the same level of enthusiasm and the energy and the adjustment that all the other people get. So then we talked about, well, what's that feeling? What are you telling yourself? And he says, this sucks. Exactly. And it really does after that point, because he's just told his whole body, this whole thing sucks. This is where the EFT comes in. Now, this is the sticky point. Last 7 minutes, we talked about, I look for sticky points. This is a sticky point in this man's business, because he's telling himself this sucks, and he's really creating it. It looks like it's the body, it looks like it's the business, it looks like it's the patients, it looks like a lot of things, but really it's what he's telling himself. So we tap on this. He goes through the feeling of sucks. And because we tap on it, the tapping accelerates the passing through of the feeling. So he moves out of it. And I said, well, keep scanning. What is the next sticky point? What else do you tell yourself? And so he feels the relief, that sucks feeling is gone. Scan yourself all the way from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Is there anything there? He said, no. Are you sure? Yes. I said, do you have the same level of energy that you started with the first patient as you do with the last patient? He said, well, there's some draining that's happening. Well, where is it draining? So we're looking for, where are those sticky points? Where is he telling himself, this isn't working, this is hard? This is his mind, this is self-talk. Once we get through it all, we are all done, and he is able to feel the same level of energy for the first patient as he is with the second patient, the last patient. So I'm looking to be introduced to small to medium-sized business owners who feel stuck in their business. Ask them if they run out of energy before the end of their day. Do they feel drained when they get home? They might be putting all their good energy into the business and leaving nothing for their loved ones at home. Ask them if they would like to meet someone who can help identify and eliminate their energy drains. Thank you.